Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be talking about something everyone wants to know more about, building wealth and being financially healthy. We've got some excerpts here from Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover Workbook.
Absolutely. Ramsey's got this great, straightforward way of explaining things.
Yeah.
And we're hoping you walk away feeling like you've got this, like you can take control of your money.
So, one of the first things Ramsey talks about is facing your financial reality.
Right.
Like really being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
He compares it to your physical health.
Uh-huh.
You wouldn't just ignore a health problem. You got to give your finances that same respect.
Exactly. And he uses this story about this couple, Sarah and John. They're building this new house thinking everything's fine.
Right.
But they've got no savings and tons of debt.
Oh, wow.
And it's not until Sarah loses her job that they finally realize, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's a scary thought, right? Losing your job.
Oh.
But better to be ready than caught off guard.
Right. And that's where Ramsey's what would happen if exercise comes in, right?
Yeah.
It helps you think about those worst case scenarios and figure out where you're vulnerable.
So you're not just burying your head in the sand.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say you've, taken a good look at your money situation.
Yeah.
What's the next step?
Ramsey says, stop the bleeding.
Stop the bleeding.
Yeah. You got to stop those bad money habits.
Okay.
Those beliefs that are holding you back.
Okay, yeah, he's really big on busting those debt myths, right?
Yeah.
Like that debt can make you rich.
Oh, he hates that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says it's like a house of cards, looks good for a minute, but it's so unstable.
Yeah.
And he actually tells his own story about going bankrupt.
Really?
Yeah, because he believed that myth about debt making you wealthy.
Okay, so that's a big one.
Yeah.
And what about the whole thing about taking out loans to build your credit score?
Yeah, he says there are way better ways to build credit. Use a secured credit card responsibly, things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's really against lending money to family and friends, too.
Oh, that's got to be tough.
Oh, yeah. It can really mess up relationships, plus put both people in a tough spot.
So we've stopped the bleeding. We've faced those hard truths. What are some, smart moves we can start making right now?
Oh, Ramsey's got tons of tips, like cooking at home more, instead of eating out all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It might seem small, but it adds up.
Yeah, definitely. He also warns about those rent-to-own places and payday loans, right?
Ugh, yeah. Those can be real traps. It's like they make it so hard to break free.
He even uses car leases as an example, right?
Oh, yeah. The interest can really sneak up on you.
Yeah.
And his car advice, well, it's a little out there.
Out there how?
He says, buy a used car with cash and invest the money you would spend on payments.
Really? Okay, that is different.
It's wild, right?
But I guess, yeah, over time.
It's about all that money you could invest, right? That compounding could really add up. Okay, so those are some great tips. Now, what about the big stuff? What's the foundation for getting our finances really healthy?
2 words, budget and emergency fund. He's all about a written budget, making sure every single dollar is accounted for.
So no mystery money floating around?
Exactly. He calls it a zero-based budget. Every dollar has a job.
Sounds intense, but I could see how it'd give you a sense of control.
Totally. And then that emergency fund, right?
Yeah.
Having that money set aside, it's like a safety net for anything life throws at you.
Yeah, for sure, especially if your income isn't always steady.
Right.
But I bet it gives you a sense of peace just knowing it's there.
Oh, absolutely. You can handle whatever comes up without going into debt. It's a good feeling.
Right.
So let's talk about how to actually get started on this financial freedom journey.
Yeah, let's get practical. Where do we begin? Ramsey has those baby steps, right?
That's right. It's like building a house. You wouldn't start with the roof.
Yeah.
Got to have that solid foundation.
So what's the first step in our financial foundation?
Baby step 1. Saving $1,000, a starter emergency fund.
Oh, so not the full 3 to 6 months worth we were talking about earlier.
Nope, this is just to get you going. For those little unexpected expenses,
Like that flat tire you mentioned?
Exactly. Having that little cushion, it's about building that saving habit.
Okay, so we've got our starter fund. What's next?
Baby step 2, debt snowball time.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this. You list all your debts, smallest to largest, right?
Yep. Keep making those minimum payments on everything else, but every extra dollar goes toward that smallest debt.
I always thought you were supposed to tackle the debt with the highest interest rate first.
Most people think that, but Ramsey says this way. You get that quick win, that motivation.
Oh, I get it. Knock out that small debt, feel good, and that keeps you going.
Exactly. It snowballs, Plus, you're still sticking to your budget. building those good habits.
Attacking it with that gazelle-like intensity.
That's it. You're breaking free.
Okay, that's gone. What's next?
Baby step 3. Build up that full emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses. Your safety net.
This is that financial fortress we were talking about.
You got it. Job loss, medical emergency, whatever comes up, you can handle it.
That peace of mind must feel amazing.
It does. No more worrying about those what ifs.
So now we've got our emergency fund. Are we ready to start building wealth?
Almost. We've got a couple more steps to really set ourselves up.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's next?
Baby step 4 is investing 15% of your income for retirement.
We touched on this earlier, but why is this so important?
It's all about the future and this thing called compound growth. Imagine a snowball rolling down a hill, getting bigger and bigger.
Oh, I like that. So like planting a seed that grows into a giant tree by retirement.
Exactly. And Ramsey says, diversify those investments.
Diversify. What does that mean exactly?
Invest in different things. Stocks, bonds, real estate. Stocks are like owning a little piece of a company. Bonds are like lending money to the government or a business.
So don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. If one investment doesn't do so well, the others might. It balances things out.
That makes sense. He mentioned Roth IRAs and 401ks, right?
Yes, those are retirement accounts that can save you money on taxes. With a Roth IRA, you pay taxes now, but your withdrawals in retirement are tax-free.
So pay taxes now, enjoy it later. And what about 401ks?
Often, your employer will match what you contribute. It's like free money.
Baby step 4 is all about setting our future selves up for success.
Right, it's playing the long game. Consistent investing can lead to serious wealth down the road.
Exciting. And baby step 5.
This one's about saving for your kids' college, if you have kids. No more crippling student loans.
Give them a good start without all that debt.
Exactly. He recommends looking into 529 plans and ESAs. They're made for education expenses.
What if you don't have kids? Is this step still relevant?
Definitely. Use it to save for a house, start a business, that dream vacation, whatever your big goal is.
So being proactive and setting ourselves up for success.
That's it. So we've tackled debt, secured our retirement, planned for college. Are we ready for the ultimate financial freedom?
I'm on the edge of my seat. What does that freedom look like?
We enter baby step 6. Pay off that mortgage early.
Owning your home outright. No more mortgage payments.
That's right. Building wealth, stability, and a huge sense of accomplishment.
So after those first 5 steps, it's back to that gazelle intensity, this time on the mortgage.
Yep. Extra payments whenever you can, maybe even refinance for a lower interest rate.
But what about the tax deduction you get for having a mortgage?
Ramsey says the peace of mind of owning your home free and clear is worth more than any tax break.
Okay, I see his point. Once you hit that milestone, is there even anything left?
Oh, there's more. Baby step 7 is where the fun really begins. Building wealth and giving.
I'm dying to hear those real-life examples. It's one thing to, understand the steps, but hearing how it works for people, that's what really makes it hit home.
Yeah, totally. Ramsey tells this great story about this couple, Rachel and Mark. They were buried in student loan debt, living paycheck to paycheck.
Oof. I know that feeling.
Right. A lot of people can relate.
Yeah.
But they decided, let's try Ramsey's plan, started budgeting, cutting back,
Right.
and just attacking that debt.
So they went full gazelle on it.
Full gazelle. And it was tough, of course, but they started seeing progress. Paid off one debt, then another,
Wow.
and that motivation just kept building.
It's amazing how those little wins can keep you going, huh?
It really is. So within a few years, all their student loans were gone. Debt-free except for the mortgage. And they had built up their emergency fund.
Wow. What happened next?
Yeah.
Did they go for the mortgage?
Oh, yeah. They became homeowners way sooner than they ever thought possible.
That's awesome.
But that's not even the best part.
What is?
Once they were financially free, they started giving back like crazy, sponsoring kids, volunteering,
Yeah.
even started their own nonprofit.
That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about having money. It's about having the means to help others.
Exactly. Rachel and Mark's story, it shows how powerful this stuff can be. They went from feeling stuck to living a life full of purpose.
So inspiring. And, another thing Ramsey talks about is being content, not comparing yourself to others.
Oh, yeah, the whole keeping up with the Joneses thing, it can really mess you up, makes you spend more than you should, get into debt, and just never feel like you have enough.
He tells that story about Bob and Sarah, right?
Oh, yeah, the couple with the perfect life, but secretly drowning in debt, big house, fancy cars, designer clothes.
Yep.
All for show. Their finances were a disaster.
It's a good reminder, What you see on the outside doesn't always tell the whole story. True wealth isn't about stuff. It's about security, peace of mind.
And Ramsey talks about delaying gratification, making sacrifices now to reach those bigger goals later.
Like maybe buying a used car instead of a new one. Or living in a smaller place so you can save more.
Exactly. Make choices that line up with your goals, even if they're not what everyone else is doing.
It's about being intentional.
Right. And this journey, it's not a solo thing. Ramsey's big on talking to your partner about money.
Oh yeah, that's got to be important.
You got to be on the same page, working together.
Makes sense. He even suggests having budget committee meetings.
I love that. It's like you're a team figuring it out together.
And of course, we can't forget about giving.
Absolutely. Ramsey says giving isn't just something you do when you're rich, it's part of every stage.
Oh, interesting. So even if you're still paying off debt,
You can still find ways to give back.
so it's about having that mindset of gratitude and generosity no matter where you are financially.
Exactly. Now, as we wrap up this deep dive into the Total Money Makeover Workbook, what are some things our listeners can take away and start using right now?
I think the biggest thing is anyone can achieve financial freedom if they're willing to put in the work. It's not about luck. It's about choices and mindset.
And Ramsey makes it so clear, so practical,
Right. It's not some big mystery anymore.
and so encouraging, too. He reminds us that we have the power to change our financial lives.
Yeah. So to all our listeners, you got this. Start small, stay focused, and don't give up on your dreams. Keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.